because
And
farm
that's
to
why the
table,
country is where we are today.
yeah, farm to table, it just sounds too good, for prisoners to some people. I don't have a problem with it, but some people just not gonna like the way that sounds or look,
And you
especially.
know what's crazy? As a food justice advocate, right? I feel that it is shameful that you guys feel that farm to table is too good. You guys are so used to the processed foods and the shit that we eat on a daily basis that regular food that's grown and brought to the table is too good for the average person. That's fucked up.
No, I agree. I said I agree that they should get better food, but I think the average person is not gonna want to get on that train to give farm to table food to prisoners. You know what I'm saying?
Fresh food is too much to give to a prisoner.
See, that sounds better. When you say fresh food, that
That's
sounds
fu-
Yeah,
better.
but that's
that
farm
No,
to
no, no, no,
table.
no. But no. When what you just said was you said the average person. Someone in prison isn't the average person. And that was
what?
the crazy. No, you said it's crazy that you think that your fresh. I mean, food was too good to give to the average person. If you're in prison, you're not the average person, and and you said that, and we're
No, this is
recording.
jail, Jonathan. These people haven't even been sentenced yet.
Okay,
They haven't
but
even
but you
went to
call but
trial.
Yeah, this is not
no, I
prison. This is
understand that. I understand
Rikers.
that. I understand the system. But what I'm saying is, you're saying they're not average persons. Average person isn't sitting in jail all the time. Most of the so when you
Shit,
say that,
your ass can end up in jail any moment, Jonathan.
yeah,
You never
of
know.
course, I know that. But what I'm saying to you is, then I have to make do with what's going on. Part of my penance and part of me having to deal with being in prison and my actions as a result of it is the food, the lack of creature comforts that I want. I mean, I can't go down. I don't eat meat, but I can go down, and grab a New York strip. That's part of the punishment. I gave that up. I forfeited that right while I'm going through that process. You know, so
So you
unless
know what
I,
you know what the alternative is instead of going to the mess hall? They'll take a bunch of what you call them? We call them crackhead soups. You know, the ramen noodles. They'll take ramen noodles, right? They'll put some tuna fish in there with some
a hookup, a
Doritos
hookup,
and
a
some
hookup.
Slim Jims and make a hookup. Oh, you know about a hookup.
That's called a break.
Yeah. See, I know about that shit, huh?
That's called a break. But hey, listen, I want to jump in on this conversation because I have some thoughts. One is I don't know why we don't build prisons instead of the prison industrial complex and selling our people to corporations for profit. Why not have self-sustaining communities where there is farming and agriculture, where these skills can be learned and a good majority of the food could be produced right by the prisoners. So that's an idea. But here's another idea about saying like food should not be a punishment. If you think food should be a punishment, then I question like your child rearing skills. Did you send your children to bed without dinner and craziness like that? Because some people did, right? Because food should not be a punishment. Now, I'm not saying that people should get their creature comforts because think about this. These guys could they will be back out in society and they may actually reproduce children. And we know that health and poverty is intricately have a systemic effect with one another. So you want to feed individuals poor food, alter, potentially begin the genetic alteration process, and then they can come out here and reproduce children, who are not healthy, and particularly, when it comes, to women. So no, feed people like they should be fed. If you're going to imprison them, feed them like they should be fed. But I also agree that's not my first concern because what we feed our kids in schools are shameful compared to school lunches around the world and other first country
I
nations.
got a question for you,
Well,
Vashawn.
hold
I
on.
agree
Let
with
me
you.
let me
Food.
jump in real quick because
But
I just want us to be clear that we are speaking about a jail, which is Rikers. These are guys that are not doing anything more than a year. They're fighting court cases going back and forth. It's a holding facility. These are not lifers. These are not 3 to 5 guys. These are not 5 to 15 guys. This is the New York City jail. We're not talking about upstate New York. And so again, I do think they do need to do better by what they're serving them. But I just wanted us to understand we're not talking about prison. long term stays. This is a short stay New York City jail known as Rikers Island. I yield.
Gotcha. I was gonna ask for Sean. I agree. When you said food as a punishment, that hits different. I like the way you put that. But at what level, like, where do we stop? Like, how good should the food be in jail? We
In
talking about
jail, right? I think
steaks?
they could do better. This is
Yeah,
New
we
York
talk.
City.
No, no, I agree. I think people should be fed. Probably, I'm saying, where does it stop? Do we give them steaks or? I mean, because we don't even have good. Have you seen the school lunches at a lot of these schools? It almost look like that. Those trays look like prison trays in some places.
Same shit. It's the same stuff.
Yeah. So I just want to
Yeah.
know, like, what level do
That's why
we?
you only ate pizza on Fridays growing up.
Oh gosh, school lunches was horrible when I was growing up. Oh my
Horrible.
gosh. I'm not saying about, the Michelin star. I mean, I think she needs to rethink her language. I mean, we're
Right.
not eating Michelin star meals, so she need to rethink her language. But the premise is just the concept, and even beyond, the conversation, of Rikers Island. Um, this is more so about healthy choices. So being fed healthy choices that will not create disease, right? I mean, that shouldn't be a part of the punishment. You shouldn't go into prison and only have options that can increase your propensity to disease. And we know there's populations of people that were fed very unhealthy diets for a long time, and we understand the impact of that, right? We understand the impact of that. So that should just be out the table. I mean, that should be a goal to make sure that our general American diet, let's start
Yes, they
there,
are. Yes,
our
they are.
schools, as well as even our imprisoned individuals. You have people in jail for child support, right? I mean, come on now, guys. Like, so everybody who's in jail are not murderers and things of that nature, and probably every one of us have probably done something in our lives at one point in time that it could have landed us in prison. So we shouldn't throw our noses in the air too much, whether it's white collar, whether it's things we don't even know we did, right? Or just by being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So it could happen to any one of us. So we shouldn't have such like a negative attitude towards prisoners. They're not all mass murderers.
Okay. If Sean, let me jump in because I think you guys are twisting this. Okay, no one is suggesting that you treat them bad. Someone has an open mic. It's just horrible. But so anyway, no one's saying thumb your nose at the prisoners. No one's saying that at all. What we're saying is when you start talking about giving them higher grade quality food than what we're giving our children in school right now. Okay, giving them higher grade quality of food than the single mother that's out there busting her ass and can go to the supermarket and can't even go to the supermarket, go to the bodega because it's a fucking a food desert where she's at, and making sure that they have the food that others don't have. That's problematic for me. I want look. I'm not have nothing against prisoners. What I'm saying is that they're there to be punished, and food isn't punishment. Okay, give them life sustaining food. Make sure give them good quality food. But what she's advocating when she said much like when they said much like a Michelin star restaurant, it's top quality, top grade food. All right, that's what and so you're not in prison to be rewarded, and that's not. And I'm very familiar with this. I have a lot of friends and people I grew up with that wound up in that system, and so and I feel for them and I understand how bad it could be. But to go out there and give them that kind of quality food and saying if we are not for them, we're against them, then I think that's wrong as well. I'm sorry. So I do not advocate giving them that quality of food. I'm sorry. Give them, hell, they got these all around America because I know they have them in my neighborhood and they have them in yours. They have these things called Produce Junction, or you go to the swap meets or the flea markets, and they got they have produce that they sell out there. That produce that they have at those produce places, a lot of them. They're like, a week old or whatever it is, and people are buying them. People are buying. Hell, yeah, the stuff that right there, but she's not advocating for that. She's saying farm straight from the farm to the fucking prison. And then if the prisoners is making that food their own or growing it on their own, then yeah, fine, you know. But if they are talking about spending good quality money, especially when food, and we all know food prices are extremely high right now, extremely high. And you guys are saying, let's go ahead and budget and give them fresh stuff. I'm not for it. That's all I land.
Yeah, I'll say
Right,
this.
so
It could be her strategy. Shoot what they say, shoot for the stars, but land on the moon, or however that saying goes. She could be calling for this high quality, but hey, maybe they may meet her halfway, and come to some type of agreement, because we all in this room can agree what they're getting is not does not suffice. And again, it's jail. So no, we don't know if anybody in there is guilty of a crime. We always forget innocent until proven guilty. You got guys fighting cases. Look, I got a friend back in the days got locked up. He went through the system because a lady said he pulled a gun on her. He didn't pull no gun on her. We was just chilling on the block. They came and grabbed him because him and her son got into an argument. She said he came to the house and pulled a gun on us. They locked his ass up. Yeah, he had to go. He made it all the way to Rikers. He had to fight this shit. He beat it, but he deserves to get a quality meal, if anybody, because he ain't even do shit. So I get her. She could, this could be her strategy. Ask for this high quality meal, but hopefully at the end there'll be an improvement because somebody said something. So I'll land with that.
Hey,
well, I
Freddie,
say this.
one second,
I
hold
s-
on. Hey, Freddie, one second. Freddie, you're on Clubhouse. Freddie, you put something in the chat or Clubhouse. What did you put in the chat at Clubhouse, Freddie? Freddie going to
Hey, Bang, what's going on, y'all? What's happening, fellas? Nah, I'm just listening to the conversation. I'm like, yo, where does it stop? Like, listen, jail is supposed to motivate you not to come back, right? So, I mean, if we open up this door with the food, I mean, where does it start? Inmates start having back and neck problems. Now we're gonna start ordering Sealy mattresses. I mean, come on.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm feeling enticed a little bit by this farm to table food. I'm not gonna lie, but let me tell you guys what I found on, like, I checked to see if there were any studies that would corroborate. Okay, so we have an increase of like heart attack or heart disease or anything associated with processed foods. And this is what it says. It says no targeted studies on Rikers food quality have surfaced in the last year. However, the New York Department of Correction oversees $18.8 million and annual food budgets, serving approximately 27,000 meals daily across its facilities. The 2024 report details the current offerings on the menu include pepper steak, roasted chicken, seasonal fruit, but it does not cite any specific nutritional impact or inmate health outcomes. So, based on that menu that's currently being served, I'm curious to see where she got this from because all she's saying is that she saw the menu and that it made her, quote, sick to her stomach. And she is recommending to serve farm to table menus to the prisoners. So, this is an interesting story.
Here's what I say to you, right? Um, it might say pepper steak, or it might say a specific type of meal, herb crusted tilapia, and this, that, and the third, right? Whatever it says on the menu is not what you're going to receive, right? When you receive the meal, the meal just looks like slop on the plate. Now, and lastly, I'll say as a food justice advocate one more time, right? We should all be eating farm based, ready to eat meals. Like, we are eating so much processed food in this country that for food to be grown and brought to the table, it's like foreign to us. And we really think that that's a big thing when it shouldn't be. And also, for her to say that she wants local farmers, right, to get the money as opposed to these big organizations, these big companies that are actually getting the money. I mean, I think that that's really something that need to be applauded because local
That's
farmers are
really
are
expensive. That's what it
suffering.
is. It's really
They're
expensive.
suffering though, Jonathan. Local farmers are suffering, and they
But
need to be,
they cost this
given
stuff
these
costs more.
contracts.
But they cost more. Local farmers cost more. It's more
Yeah, but
that's
it's
even more
it's
expensive.
regular food though, man. Like, I mean, what we talking about?
But
You're
also,
saying you're
here's the
saying
thing, right? But
we
to God,
shouldn't be eating just like regular food that's grown out of the dirt, as opposed to all of these chemicals and all of this stuff that America feeds us on a daily basis.
but I'm
Think of
just
it like this.
concerned. But look, just really quick, and I'll pass it back. I just made sure all of these menus are approved by the state's dietitian. So if there is an issue, then I think the issue would be with the regulations that state and that set the minimum requirements for the food. So you know what I mean? It's not like someone isn't having oversight on this. That's a registered dietitian that's saying that at the very least the food that they're being given is not providing them with health risks.
Well, they should be fired. Because, I mean, the only way that you could really witness what the food is if you see it yourself. Because what they describe and what you see is not the same thing.
But I appreciate this story too, the guy. It was great. But let's just keep it real. How many of us in our real life is eating farm to table food every day that rival Michelin star rated restaurants daily? I'm not saying
Hold up,
sometimes.
hold up, before you go on with that though, right? Mind you, the councilwoman did not say the Michelin star thing. This is the way that the Post spent the story. So I just
Oh,
want to put that out there.
okay. I thought that was her words. Okay.
And the reason is because, like, you could order, for an example, a farm share, right? Co-op thing where you don't. It's still pretty expensive, but you don't even choose what you get. You're getting like what the farmer pulled out of the ground that week. But like you go to any farm to table restaurant, is probably going to be more expensive than the average restaurant, and it's 10 times more expensive than somewhere like McDonald's. Because yeah, it is not mass produced with a bunch of crap, which makes it cheaper.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
like saying people why people don't buy organic too. Okay, I'm done.
If
Okay,
you want good food, go to the Hilton, not the prison. I'm just saying.
okay. Here's the example. Federal Bureau of Prisons. Okay, national menu. And let's see here. All right, here we go. On Monday, I'm just gonna do Monday. Fruit, oatmeal, cream gravy, onion brown potatoes, or boiled potatoes, biscuit, whole wheat. Whole wheat bread and jelly. Sugar substitute packets, margarine packs, and skim milk. That's breakfast. Lunch, beef taco or soy tacos, whole kernel. Whole kernel corn, taco shells too, shredded cheese, salsa, fruit, beverage. Sounds pretty damn good to me. Dinner, pasta with marinara and meatballs, or soy spaghetti sauce, spinach, garden salad, Italian dressing, locale, garlic bread, or whole wheat bread, and a beverage. That's just Monday. Okay. So that's on Monday.
You said it
Wait, hold
sound
on, hold
pretty
on,
good
hold on,
to
hold
you.
on. Just one second. Let me just on Friday, yeah, for breakfast, yeah, look like breakfast is pretty much the same thing on Friday. Fruit, hot oatmeal. Oh, French toast with syrup or whole wheat bread and jelly, sugar packet substitutes, margarine pack, and skim milk. Okay. Then on Friday for lunch, you have breaded fish sandwich or baked fish, baked beans, macaroni salad, carrots, uh, WW hamburger buns with tartar. Okay, yeah, I guess that's the bun for the fish. All right, tartar sauce, fruit, and beverage. For dinner, you have chicken fried rice, or tofu fried rice, green beans, whole wheat bread, and a cold beverage.
And calm her down.
That's me.
Some
That's
food.
not what they
Somebody,
getting.
somebody,
That's
hey,
they're
somebody
not getting
lying.
it, bro.
Somebody lying
Yeah,
because
they
Yo,
lying. They're
that
yo,
lying.
Or
food.
I when they say
yo.
fruit, are you
I'm
picturing a
gonna
real
put it in the
apple? Because
chat.
it's
Will
like
be some
Look,
peeled.
food straight out of
look,
Russia.
I just put it in the
But
chat.
real quick, I got breaking news. I got breaking news. We got wildfires out on Long Island. Reported 2 hours ago. The air is really dry. When you get out to deep, really deep out into Long Island, we're talking about the Hamptons. We're talking about Riverhead. We're talking about old money. We're talking about big houses. So I don't know how bad it is. I'm trying to get more information, but wildfires on Long Island, New York, this is a problem. So I'm going
You
to
know
try to
why
get
that's
some more
happening
news.
today?
Say it
What's
again, Cindy.
what's happening,
You know
Cindy?
why that's happening today?
Why?
Because it's International Women's Day and Mother Nature's showing her fury.
Uh,
Ah.
Hey,
Hey guys, I put that menu. I put that whole menu for the prison system in the chat. I mean, so you guys can look at it real fast. You guys ought to look at it. It's some really good stuff on there.
Jonathan,
Jonathan,
you
don't
told
go
deaf,
out.
you
Wait a minute,
told deaf as
y'all.
hell,
Yo,
man.
yo,
That shit
man,
is
Wait a
not
minute,
what you
y'all.
gonna receive on your
Jonathan,
plate,
listen,
man.
don't go commit no crime because it sounds like you ready.
you
Trying to
know
go
what I
get those
mean?
good meals, huh?
man.
I'm about ready to commit a little misdemeanor, man. I can eat free like that. But I see what the
Trust me,
God is saying too.
that shit gonna look like slop on your plate. You was not gonna be able to eat that whole meal. I
I can't
promise you.
wait to commit a crime. Jeez.
I
Mystery meat.
promise you.
Mystery meat is what we used to call it.
Check this out.
Can I jump in for 1 second?
1 second. Tuesday dinners. I just want to do Tuesday dinner. Salisbury steak or black beans, mashed potatoes. Someone has their mic open. Please close your mic. Please close your mic. Thank you. Please close your mic. Can you guys find out who it is? Problem?
No, I think it's your avatar on Clubhouse that making
No,
that.
it's someone in Clubhouse then. Someone in Clubhouse, please close their mic.
Yeah, it's nobody on Clubhouse.
Yeah, there's something going on. Oh, that's me.
You have a slight echo as
No,
well.
no, no. I'm too close to the other thing. Is that thing? Oh, wow.
That's the food gods. Thank you, food gods.
Vaughn, happy Woman Day.
Thank you, my
Yeah.
friend, and to all the ladies on the stage.
Until
So I
Stop
got a
Jonathan,
pitching.
quick. I got a
until
Stop
quick
pitching
Jonathan get
Woo
No,
back
no,
Wang
one
down.
right.
second, 1 second. Somebody muted
Okay.
me, guys. I was talking that whole damn time. All right, here we go, guys. I want you guys to look at this right here, and it's in there. Tuesday dinner: Salisbury steak or black beans, mashed potato with corn, brown gravy, whole wheat bread, a beverage, and margarine pat. Come on, guys, that's crazy.
That's
There you go.
Rikers.
There you go.
That's
It's
Actual
Rikers.
in the
Rikers
chat.
menu on the article. I'm put the article in the chat. They got the actual Rikers menu in the article.
And what does it say? Give us the guy. Read
All
one
right,
name. What day?
I'm gonna give you a day. I'm gonna give you a
Okay,
day.
okay. Give
Hold
us a
on.
day. You talked about the Salisbury steak. Give us that day. Let's go.
You said, oh, there's pepper steak day.
Yeah.
All right, the pepper steak day. So for breakfast, you're gonna have healthy rolled oats, right, with margarine, 1% milk, and coffee or hot tea. Right. For lunch, pizza pockets, steamed white cabbage, cucumber salad, and peaches, chilled peaches.
Oh, that's exquisite.
Okay, and then for dinner, you got pepper steak, yellow rice, and crisp green beans with a fruit drink.
And a side order of soy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exquisite right there.
All right, so for Tuesday, you had Scooters, whole grain cereal. You got a vegetable garden burger for lunch with scalloped potatoes, vegetable medley, and a green salad. And then for dinner, you would have crusted jerk tilapia with sweet corn and steamed spinach.
Sign me up.
Yeah, you
Sign
guys
you up?
definitely have the food gods over there because Los Angeles is hurting. You guys
That's
want to
not
hear what
what.
they serve over
No,
here?
That's
no,
not what
Listen,
they're
uh,
getting, guys. That's
You
listen
not
got
what
what
they're
they're
food that's
let,
getting
not
getting.
going to
over
beat
Hold
it.
here,
on,
man.
hold on,
They're
hold on one
getting
second. Hold
let
on
him
one
finish. Let
second.
him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead. Are you finished, you guy? Are you finished, you guy?
Now, I
That
give
was.
you one more. I'll
Oh no,
give
no,
you
no,
one
no. That's it.
more.
That's good. That's good. No, that's good.
What I
Okay.
was gonna
Okay,
say
but
real quick
look,
though, I put
I
some
want y'all to
image.
understand, right? It's gonna sound like that on paper. Just like when you was in school, it
Facts.
sounded like that on paper, but when you got down there, the lunch lady was throwing slop on your plate and telling you to
Straight up.
move on.
Straight up.
Hey,
Jonathan,
God, I
Real
you
want
act
to
quick.
like
say
you don't
something
know
out
this shit
about
ain't chat
Jonathan's link.
Right.
GPT,
They
bro.
Hold
believe
on,
in
real
this
Hold
real
shit.
real quick, real
hold
quick.
on,
I
y'all. I
put
want
some
to point
images
something
in
out
the
about
chat.
Jonathan's link.
Hold on one second.
Jonathan's
I put
link.
some images in the chat of some actual pictures of some of the jail meals and click on them. Some of them don't really look that bad. I
Wait,
know it may
this
not be Rikers.
Rikers?
It may not be. No,
Hold
I
on.
don't think it's Rikers, but it's
Okay.
just typical prison meals. So I mean, just check them out.
Man, I was
Okay,
afraid to do
so wait,
embezzlement. Now I'm considering embezzlement now.
You like
so
the white collar crime ain't so bad.
I want to make a point about
Sign me up,
Jonathan.
too, man. I
Y'all
might.
gonna let me make my
Hold on, let
point? Damn
Vashawn jump in. Jump in, Vashawn.
it. I want to make my point about Jonathan's link. Jonathan's link is federal prisons, okay? Federal prisons. We know that you get treated better, food is better, job is better, life is better at federal prisons. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is not happening at the state level and from state to state. So I just want to
Yeah,
point that out.
I'm about
Oh,
to
you
put
know
a
what
link
though? You know that
for
always been a
Parchman,
myth that
Mississippi.
federal prisons were better. I got a buddy that was going back and forth the state, and he finally got a Fed charge, and he turned his life around. He said the Fed prison was 10 times worse than the state prison. I guess
I've
depends on
never
what
heard that a
kind of.
day in my life
Yeah,
too.
me either,
I
but
have.
I
I have.
have.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
Can
I
I
have.
jump
have.
in for a second?
They put you on that bus,
Just,
on a Fed prison. Go ahead. They put you on that bus.
just really quick. So, back to what DeGod was saying about they might say that that's what the menu is, but it doesn't look like that when they give it to you. It's the same way for any institutional level food, right? Hospitals, schools, anytime you're like mass preparing, something happens, right? And it doesn't look as good. But I feel like the same thing would happen if they did the farm to table stuff because it still would be mass prepared. And so I'm not sure it would look as good as you think it might look or be that much better.
Thank you, Leah. That's just common sense perspective. But yeah, federal, you mess up in Fed prison, they put you on a bus and they ship you from, you be on that bus for days and then you stop at institution to institution. They keep you on that bus for months. Okay, not really having anywhere to go. They keep you on that bus. You might stop, stay at an institution for like 2 weeks, put you right back on that bus, and keep you moving. So yeah, I don't know if you know anything about that, but no.
Yeah, well, I guess we have different experiences because people that I've known that's been in state and federal prisons, maybe it varies from state to state, but I have never heard that, so I find that shocking. But okay,
oh
Charges too, Vashawn. You know, if you in federal for murders, or if you were doing counterfeit, you might be better. It depends on the crime.
yeah, I know dudes that got Fed charges for selling drugs, and they went to some horrible places. I mean, I'm telling
now
this
that
guy
is
turned
true.
his
There
life
are
around.
there are some horrible places, and but sometimes that has more so to do with being in prison, like grossly outside of your community, because you can end up anywhere. If you go to state prison, you're going to be a couple hours away from home, things of that nature. So there's definitely some nuances. You can end up somewhere in West Virginia federal prison, and with people who and some unique issues from those particular populations. But as far as accommodations, as far as jobs, as far as facilities, as far as like educational programs, as far as food choices, I mean, some of these places even have tennis courts, right? Federal prisons. So that's what I'm saying, but I do get your point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely confirmed the New Yorkers really do believe the world surrounds them because the stuff you guys are eating over there in comparison to other jails is freaking gourmet. I mean, they're serving powdered eggs here, they're still serving bologna sandwiches. And it's interesting because when you look to see at how much more this would cost, like right now, New York's at about $1.80 a plate, and something like this would put them over $3 a plate.
Jonathan Howard has a on his PTR is a picture of I guess a typical prison meal. I think that is what the guy was talking about. It looked like slop when you get it. So I wonder what the name of that meal was.
That
But
looks like the school lunches.
yeah, pretty
You
much.
gonna eat your cornbread? That's Jonathan. You gonna eat your cornbread?
Don't give me your cornbread.
No,
Jiggling, jiggling.
Maybe
I
I should
love
eat
that.
your cornbread.
No, I love that story. The guy that really got everything open because that's something that people don't really think about, like people in prison or jail, because once they're in there, they're forgotten about. So a lot of them guys are living off commissary in prison and jail. But if they don't have anybody to take care of them, they doing bad.
And to be honest, I mean, I've heard stories about if you like a certain level, because sometimes the prisoners, run the prison. They've even gotten Uber Eats. I've heard about steaks being made with irons. So you can definitely get accommodated, but in general, no, I don't think it's that great.
Did you say Uber Eats in prison?
I've heard that. Yes,
Oh
I've
wow.
heard that. I've heard that.
I'd like to see how that work out. The guy show up with the Uber
Yo,
Eats.
100% the food that he got on that PTR, that's what it like all of these amazing things that they said on the menu. 100%.
Yeah, somebody got their hand in a cookie jar. We know that. They gonna say that how much money they spend and this, that, and the third, but that's not what's happening in reality for sure.
It,
Oh, there's so much corruption, man, and kickbacks from like even food contracts. It's ridiculous.
if you end up for white collar crime in one of the two club feds, there's the Alderson, which is the women's one, which literally looks like a college campus. Like they have like trees planted in the prison courtyard. Like I mean, like seriously, I'm not kidding. And then the male facility is called Morgantown, and also in West Virginia. And that one has a movie theater, basketball court. It's got a bocce ball court. Do you know how white that is to have a bocce ball court? I mean, Jesus, like
That's Italian, buddy. Yep.
who's over
Was
there playing
I don't even know
bocce
what
ball?
bocce
Like
ball is.
we're gonna go play bocce ball, right? I mean, like
was that low security?
in
No, Cindy knows
Minnesota.
what bocce ball is.
Where the God? The God, you want to speak to? I know we were talking about food, but can you speak a little bit to? Because I heard Jadakiss said a line. He said, "Why they stopped letting N words get degrees in jail?" Did they actually stop that, or is that still allowed?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? And with 1996, when Bill Clinton was in office, they stopped allowing people to get federal Pell grants and TAP and all of these different grants that you get to go to college and prison. So basically, he just destroyed the whole college and prison thing that was going on before his time. It wasn't until years later that through some nonprofits and other initiatives in like the 2000s that a program called Bar Prison Initiative was able to bring college back in prison. But all that time it had been shut down. And just recently they just got a chance to get tapped back in prison. So yeah, that's what he was talking about, stopping letting people get degrees in jail. I'll tell you one thing. Here's the main thing though, right? When it comes to a college degree, the chances of recidivism go very low, right? So if a person gets a college degree in jail, it's less likely that they're going to go back to jail as opposed to a person who doesn't get any type of schooling. The more information that you retain, the less likely it is that you go back to jail. Peace.
No, that's common sense because you got an opportunity. You got a degree. More than likely, you're gonna be able to find a job, even with with a felon on your background. But if you get out with no skills and no degree, and only thing you know is to go back to doing what you did, probably to get, to be put in prison the first time. So yeah, I definitely think. How do y'all feel? Do y'all think education should be offered free in prison? Because that's another thing people gonna say to God, like, people that's not in prison have to take out student loans and all of that type of, stuff to go to college, but you go to prison and get a free college education. Anybody got any
First of
thoughts
all,
on that?
first of all, there's nothing free. I mean, like, I listen. I went to college and prison myself, right? And there's plenty of people that just could not make it through. You have to do the same amount of college study that people would do in the world, and it's very time consuming, and people really have to put their all in it to make through and get a college degree. And it's harder because they don't have the same resources. They at first they didn't have computers. They was working on typewriters. Everything. See, you guys don't realize that most of the things in jail are antiquated. It's just recently that they started using, where they got tablets and stuff like this. But recently, they had tapes and typewriters, and you everything was just so old school, and you was just light years behind. College and prison was very helpful because some of the colleges was able to bring in computer labs and things like that to make people more ready to enter the world with some type of understanding of what's really going on in the world, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. When I say free, I mean don't have to pay. Do you think people in prison
Yeah,
should
but
have to take out
it's
student
not
loans?
coming out of taxpayers' money. The money was coming from philanthropists. It was all money that was through nonprofits and donations. It never came through any type of government type of funding or anything like that.
I thought you said Pell Grants. I thought they used to get Pell Grants.
No, Pell Grants is something that's afforded to anybody. They took them out of prison, and in that time, it was nonprofits and all of that was bringing the colleges back.
Oh yeah, if it's yeah, I definitely agree. I think it should be there, and definitely if people want to.
Also should
I
be.
think my general. Oh, go on, Vashan. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Skull. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I think generally in America, we lean too heavily on the idea of punishment and like retribution versus rehabilitation and reformation. And I think that we would have a lot smaller incarcerated population. We would have a lot less recidivism, and we would continue lowering our crime rate, which has gone down for decades. There was a slight uptick during COVID, but other than that, it's been going down for decades. And I think that if we leaned a little more heavily on those concepts of rehabilitation and reformation versus, say, punishment and retribution, that we would have better outcomes from our people that are incarcerated. And, listen, everybody's done crimes. You just might not have got caught for them. I mean, people don't even realize some of the crimes that they do, right? Uh, and, I just think it's very unfair, especially to penalize people like, nonviolent felonies. I think unless it's like moral turpitude, right? Like you scammed a bunch of elderly people or something, or you were like, scamming people's SNAP benefits. Like, it's like, well, then you're kind of a terrible person. But like, I think, by and large, nonviolent felonies, I think it's a real shame that it stays on people's records permanently, right? Because I think it's very unfair, and I think it inhibits their opportunities later in life. Like, one of the crazy things that happens is in California, you've got all these prisoners fighting fires. They have tons of knowledge. They get out. They're not allowed to apply for fire departments almost nationwide because they're felons, which is crazy to me. Anyway, I land.
That's
Rashawn, you want to talk?
actually, yeah, we have a whole program where they are able to come in and apply. It's flawed like everything else. There are people that fall through the cracks, and it is a lengthy document process. But we absolutely have advocated for them to be able to jump in as firefighters, and a lot of them do get to do that. But, I think as I continue to hear you guys, I hear what Jonathan was bringing up earlier, and I know we were joking about it about the, incentivize people with food and all of that. But at some point, I think we would have to look at to ensure that, eh, you know, we raise the quality of the programs for the people that are not in jail before we go in and bring in some of these proposals that are not only just very expensive but can become very confusing and tricky for the average person that's paying into them.
Rashawn, were you trying to jump in?
Yeah, no, and I wanted to say, I don't know, Charlotte. I think you remember Charlotte. She hasn't been on the app in a while, but she spoke about the fact that her father was a firefighter for the California, prison systems and so forth. And she was really passionate about it because she talked about the systemic issues. So sometimes, like, it is a great move that California is making an attempt, but it's so bogged down in bureaucracy, and it is really difficult. And I think it's a very small percentage. But it is the right first step. So I do want to say that. The second thing I wanted to say is that I just, it just boggles me just how harsh, we can be. As if, we're in any position to. I used to say all the time, like sometimes the most homophobic people are actually, secretly, gay and things of that nature, right? And it's like we're in this position and we're talking about prisoners like, oh, well, they did the crime and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, wow, damn. And I get it when we're talking about mass murderers and serial killers and, people who abuse children. But people are in jail for a lot of really simple reasons. And sometimes for things they didn't even know was illegal, right? Ignorance of the law is not a defense, but still didn't even know it was illegal or just in the wrong. And it can happen to any of us, right? It can happen to any of us, especially in the white collar segment. So my whole point is that I think we should change our attitudes, and we should address why do we have these attitudes towards people who are imprisoned? Why do we feel that way? But I think we should change our attitudes, and we should look at prison for the majority of prisoners as a rehabilitative effort, and should do everything in our power to make that happen, because these people are going to come back out on the street. And I just don't get why people feel that way. It's just insane to me. So yeah, 100% educational programs. And I don't care if taxpayers were paying for you were paying for the degrees. I know that's not largely what happens, but I don't care. And the last thing I'll say about that is that there are other solutions. How about allow prisoners to have work studies in prison instead of selling out prisoners to big corporations for absolutely nothing? All right. And how about let's not do that? Let's have like work study programs where that money could contribute, towards their education. How about that?
Agree
I
with that
agree.
100%. I'll just give y'all some last stats. At the height of mass incarceration, right, in New York State, right, like say around 1999, the highest level of prison population was 71,000 people. All right. Now, out of these people, like 85% of the people were like Black and Latino, right? And they had something called the Seven Neighborhood Study in the 80s, and it showed that out of the prison population, about 70% of the people came from seven neighborhoods in New York City. Right now, I know many of y'all probably haven't been in New York State, but New York State is a massive place. It's like 8 million people in New York City, and then like 8 million people in the rest of the state. All right, so it's like, oh, say about 18 million people in New York, right? Now, for most of the people that was incarcerated to come from seven neighborhoods in New York City, that's targeted, right? But since that time, the prison population has declined steadily. And at this point right now, it's only 33,000 people in New York State prison, and a lot of the prisons have been closed, right? And that's also due to Cuomo saying that Cuomo and I think the one before him was saying that we're not going to uh, build prisons in these neighborhoods upstate New York just so like the people in those neighborhoods could profit off of it and bring people from New York City up there so that the people could profit off of the prison business. So I mean it's just there's a lot of different things that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to prison, and it's a lot of it is targeted to certain communities. And I think that if y'all had a little bit more understanding of that, y'all might look at this a little bit differently.
No, I totally agree. I always say people never understand the victim until they become the victim. So yeah, if you've never been victimized by the system, you will be a little biased in your judgment. Anybody else got anything on the prison thing? If not, we're gonna keep it pushing. I think that was a great story you brought up. It really opened the conversation up to God. Is everybody?
Yeah, listen, Sean. Listen to me, because I don't want to get the wrong impression. I'm 100% all for making sure people are treated right, okay, and fairly, extremely fairly, overly fairly. That's all. But I don't like. I think there's some people that take advantage of the system at times, and so I definitely want to make sure that when we're speaking about that, that we're mindful of that um, prison's not a great place to be in. Jail's not a great place to be in. Okay, it's not. So I really don't want anyone to think that we're here. I don't want to be on the wrong side of this. I don't want to give the impression that it's normal. I don't want to normalize it. It is. It's called a penal system for a reason, and and I understand how one side is actually one group, well, certain groups, not one, certain groups of people are penalized more than others. But I just want to be mindful of that, man, because I don't want to be here condoning. I'm always going to speak up for the little guy and what's right, but I'm not going to be advocating for people that I think is going to that's hurting. That is hurt. That is in there for hurting people, hurting society, and saying, hey, they should get Michelin star quality food. Okay, and not that I think education is important because it gives them a skill, because it helps with recidivism. And I think that they should have good quality food. Good, very good quality food. I think the quality food that they have right now isn't good quality food, but they should have good quality food. I'm not gonna be here advocating for this everything else. That I don't know, this farm to table, local farmers and all that other stuff. No, I think they should have good quality food. normal food. Okay, not looking for anything subpar, not looking for anything abnormal. Just normal food is what they should have. And
Oh,
I'm
Jesus Christ, we don't even eat normal
Um,
food. We don't even eat normal
um,
food. What are you talking about?
yeah. You know, Cindy, you're talking about like, we have a choice
No, we
of the
don't.
food.
No, we're on the go. We're moving fast. I eat off the roach coach every day. I'm still 60 years old. I'm going to say 59. I'm 59.
which is way worse than prison food.
I do my
Okay.
best to eat
I've been
They
eating
healthy.
don't
off
know what a
that
roach
thing
At the
for
coach
farmer's
is.
37
market.
years.
They don't know what a roach
37
coach
years.
is. They don't know what a roach coach is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I do my best to shop at the farmer's market, make good choices. I mean, if you know how much money I spend on groceries because I'm conscious about certain
Yeah.
things, in terms of like sales and couponing and where I go and those
Well,
kinds of
I have a
things.
question, Vashon. How
Hmm.
are you able to do that? Like when you're working all day and you're like me, right? I'm a builder. I'm in the field all day and I can't run and go get healthy food because I don't have the time to. So when the roach coach pulls up, that's what I'm eating off of.
Yeah, Cindy, we had this conversation. I really want to give you a hard time because there's no reason why a person of your stature, and I told you about that. And
Yeah. Mm.
you really needed somebody in your life like me who would have called. You got too many people that let you just get away with saying these things because
Who's
there's
the?
no reason why. Hold on, you have too much money not to be able to afford a meal prepper and whatever else the hell you want. So I do not want to hear that from you. That
I
is
don't have the. I
absolutely
don't have the
you.
time. I don't have the
That's
time. I
you
don't
have absolutely
have
have the
the
time.
time. You
You
don't
absolutely
understand.
have the time.
I'm
You
going, going,
absolutely have
going until I can't go. No, I don't
no, you
eat
Cindy,
until I'm
absolutely
ready
have
to
the time
fall
to
on
have a
my
meal
fucking
prepper
face.
and to
Cindy,
eat more healthy.
You guys,
Cindy,
Cindy.
when
I
you
know
have
y'all
enough,
think I live the life of O'Reilly. I don't. I wish I
Cindy,
did. I don't. But
Cindy,
go ahead.
hold on, just hear me out though, right? So there's something to Vashan's point, and just hear me out on this. You don't have the time. I agree, right? We all have limited time in our day. However, the more money you have, the more you can leverage that money to buy other people's time and add that time to your
Okay, so
time.
Lewis, let me tell you something. For 5 years straight, Ray put together a lunch for me every morning before he left the house. Chicken, blah, 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 right? After like so many days of him finding it the next day when he put the new one in my car, the old one, he quit. He's like, why aren't you eating what I packed you? Just keep eating all day long so you don't get lightheaded and dizzy, right? I
The,
don't have the time. When I'm
their
going,
po-
I
their point
just
is, it's a
go.
choice. You could do Uber.
So
There's so
what
many
what she's saying,
options.
she don't have the time to eat it, not the time, not getting it
Correct.
prepared. Yeah.
When you're stuck out there and you're moving at a speed that I'm moving at, I just can't just stop and go, okay, guys, hold on. I got to really go eat a really healthy meal. You guys all eat off the road coach, and I'll see you in an hour and answer your 400 questions of the day.
Can you tell us what a roach coach is? Because we clueless. Some of us are clueless.
Okay, it's when the truck pulls up with food. Seriously, guys, you've never been like saw a construction site where a truck pulls up and has food in it, and
Oh,
like you all
food
run
truck.
to it. You
Yeah,
Okay.
guys
it's a
better.
food
You
truck.
need to follow my stories on Instagram. Then you'll
Yeah,
It's
know
we
a
what I'm
call it
food.
the
It's a
roach
saying.
food
coach.
truck.
If you
Oh yeah.
follow my stories, you'll understand all these things.
I
But
follow
there have
you.
been
I'm gonna have to
times,
check it
guys,
out.
we've been on commercial jobs, right, in Boston, where like a new area is getting developed, and there's not even a place to get a cup of coffee, right? Like the seaport area of Boston, right, was like just all fish markets. And then we built a hotel called the Renaissance. And there was no place to eat. So what am I going to do? Leave and go drive 4 miles into the back bay of Boston and go sit down at the.
DoorDash
We didn't have
or
DoorDash back then.
Grubhub
We
But
didn't
that's
have
or Uber
DoorDash. We didn't
Eats.
have that 12
but
years
that's
ago.
where the
Okay.
food prepping will help you out at that point.
Yeah,
You
but the
already
other
have it
thing is
ready.
too, I don't know how to cook. So I couldn't even food prep for myself. I tried. And then the people I brought in, the food tasted so yucky. By the time I got it, it was like hard and like that because good healthy food really tastes kind of hate to tell you, but whatever. To me it
It
does.
sounds like my when my 2-year-old and trying to feed them vegetables. Like, yeah, it's just
Yeah, that would that
nasty.
would that would be me, Bashan. Yes, that spitting it right up, going, ugh, yes, yes, yes.
No, I hear you. I just, and it's like I think we were talking about this recently, so I get what you're talking about. Like, when you're just your mom, your wife, you're a major businesswoman, and not really having the options that we have today. But going forward, you do have better
There you go.
options.
Right, going
Go,
forward. So what I'm
going
saying
forward,
is
you do
I've
have
already
better.
done my damage. That's why we have International Women's Day today, right? The 8th
Hey,
of March is International Women. The whole month is, but today's the real day. But
I'm
hey,
even when
let me
mad
we
that
give you
went to
what I
Italian
like,
food is
what.
my favorite
Rob,
food and you
even when
can't
we,
cook Italian food. I'm mad
Rob,
about
even when
that,
we went
Cindy.
to a local diner, that's all and things too, right? Like that's not good food either, if you think about it.
But
That's
Cindy,
why
I got to agree with Sean. You got too much money to eat bad.
you don't, why are you guys counting my money? What if I told you I'm
We
really
can't
poor?
help it. We follow your stories. You just
Oh,
told
I
us to
mean,
follow.
hell, you told us. You told us. Like, I
I
mean,
don't
we're
tell
not.
you. I never talked about my wealth ever.
You
Never,
don't
never,
talk
never,
about it
never,
in
never,
that
never, 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 never,
way.
never. I
But
don't even want anything
You
on the
say
internet. There
there.
should be nothing on the internet about Cindy Stumpo. C Stumpo Development is a privately held company. Nobody should know what I have, what I
but
don't have, what I do have.
Well, if you say
here's the
that
I
you're
agree
a
here's
with
the thing.
Cindy.
millionaire,
I agree
if
with
you say
Cindy.
that
It's the
you're a
hustle. It's
millionaire,
the
that is
hustle.
a
When you on
number
the
of
hustle, you can't prioritize good eating when you hustling. When you grinding,
Correct.
you on the move a
Correct.
lot, man. Like you eat a lot of fast food. You eat because you just getting stuff that's on the move.
But she's not on the
Correct.
grind. She at the point now where she can
Oh no, I'm
uh,
not. That's where
delegate.
you're wrong.
You
That's
can
where you're
delegate.
wrong.
You can't
No,
delegate.
no, 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 no. All I'm back here now. I've been gone, Florida, blah, blah, blah. All I've been doing is fixing mistakes, fixing errors, read. And I've only been back for 2 days. This is my third day. I had half a day Thursday, Friday, and today. And all I've done is send videos out to all the guys. Get your ass back in here and fix this, fix this, fix this, do this, do that. Why are you this far behind? Blah, 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 blah. And Monday will be another day like that. And then for the next 3 weeks, I'll be out there catching up on I did wrong because I wasn't in the field, boots on the ground, standing there. And the only one that knows this in this room is Rob. That's how much hands on I am in the field. I do not sit in some plushy office except on Fridays. And I don't even keep my office like some plushy office or space, okay? Because then clients come in and see a big plushy office and they go, oh, she's making too much money off me. So let's go buy from somebody else, right? So people think they're going to walk into this like amazing office. It's not. Maybe to some people it is, but I could do it a lot better. But again, you try to stay low key.
Oh,
You don't
Brendan,
want
listen.
people to think that you're making all this money off them either.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. If they think you got too much money, it's a problem. If they think you don't have enough money, they don't want you to
Exactly. If you
come up off
Gotcha.
of
exactly. Welcome to being a woman, by the way.
them.
That's our whole
Oh,
life.
oh, so there is some issues with being a woman or a minority when
Of
it
course
comes
there
to the
is.
landscape, you know. Okay. So
I'm
the
never
other
going
thing
to deny that
is
one.
that your breakfast and
I just
dinner
don't use it as an excuse, but I won't
it's
deny
not
it.
an excuse, but it's a fact, right? It's a fact. So if it's more difficult, because we've had these conversations, if it's more difficult and there's more barriers, then there's a reason why, and then that reason is based on your gender, right? And so that means that if there's not opportunities opened up, that means that a lot less women are going to, because they have to combat, those kinds of issues. And yes, some will be able to do it, but many won't. And then the question is it because it's a meritocracy or is there sexism, right? And we know that it's sexism. But anyways, in the morning and in the night, we can control what we eat. At some point, we got to come home and we got to leave. The middle of the day, you can have snacks, right? You can have lots of snacks that can equate to a meal, right? You can have your nuts and your almonds. You can have fruit. There's a lot of things that you can have.
I know I've tried that all. Devil dog is so much better.
See, let's get to the truth of the matter. But I want to respond to Jonathan. Jonathan, I don't want to say this. I want to make sure you hear it. Are you there? Okay. So Jonathan's not
Go,
there.
go ahead, go.
All right. So you were talking about, I don't think we disagree on this issue. But one thing I want to say, you're talking about jails and prison. First of all, the United States have more people in prison than everyone else in the world or something like that. I mean, the number of our prisoners compared to the world. So that lets us know that we have an issue with mass incarceration. So let's begin there. The second thing is that if we wanted to compare how it was looked at with the crack cocaine epidemic as far as the approach towards that particular issue as opposed to now that we're on the fentanyl issue, and there was a different approach. And my point is that I would bet money that if the demographics changed inside of our penal system, right? And the community's impacted for some crazy reason. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it did, then we probably would change our ideas about how we think about prison. So that is just kind of like I would think that we would be on the same page, when it comes to that. So that was my whole point. But I do agree, Michelin star, restaurants, that was bad language. But we know that she didn't say that because that was corrected and that was a spin, from the person that was reporting on the news article.
Well, let me just say this right here. Yeah, I agree. There's a disproportionate, I guess, and has disproportionately the way they handle the, the opioid epidemic versus the crack epidemic. It was and the time, the punishment, the crime, and all that other stuff. I agree with all that. But in terms of and yeah, I just want to make sure that you understand. I guess everyone understand that prison it's for punishment. That's all, and that's all. I just don't want to get away from. And I'll say this right here: the prison system, the way that the reason that we do more than anyone else is because it's a business. You got to keep the prosecutors employed. You got to get the judges employed, the loan officers. I mean, the prison guards. All those people have to keep jobs. So that's why we do it. So I just want to be mindful of that.
I bet y'all 100 that none of y'all ladies on International Women's Day could speak about a local woman that's doing something great in your neighborhood.
If anybody got any local news stories about women doing something positive, feel free to jump in. It's International Women's Day, so if not
Pretty
right now,
sure there's a woman in your life who made you a child, who bore you life, who feeds you, who clothes you, who schedules your doctor's appointments, who uh, makes sure your sheets are clean, the toilet's clean. I mean, what are you guys talking about? You need a Women's Day to celebrate women? Celebrate us every day, just like we celebrate you. Thank you.
yeah,
That's
definitely I'm
right, woman.
outnumbered. It's all women. I'm the only man in my house, so women
That
get
was a good cop
celebrated.
out right there. But
Yeah,
y'all
women
still ain't come up with no women in your neighborhood that's doing something great right now. I bet you 100 cockroaches.
Got one.
jump in,
Cindy
madam.
still here?
All right.
This is Marietta.
I'm every
Oh,
woman. Yeah, I'm every woman. Anyway, here we go. Daylight savings time starts tonight. Set your clocks up 1 hour. That's right. We're losing 1 hour of sleep tonight. The other news I have prepared for tonight is that the Mega Millions tickets will soon increase. In April, you will have to pay $5 for your not Mega Million ticket. And that's all I have for today.
Oh man, they going up on the lottery tickets. $5. They $2 now, so they're gonna raise $3 per ticket. That's crazy. That's
that's
crazy.
a
Adrian,
lot.
Adrian, what you got going on right now?
Wow, I was enjoying that conversation. All right. I had to kick Sally out of here because she handed me 50 stories. So I picked one of them. I'm going to deliver it to you because she's out of here. All right. Serious. Location Sunny Palms Park, Florida. Local parents were left stunned and slightly entertained when an organized baby jailbreak took place at a community picnic this past Saturday. Eyewitnesses, they reported approximately 2:15 p.m. Remember that time? A rogue gang of diaper-clad toddlers staged a full-blown nudist rebellion. What the hell? Shedding their onesies and making a bold sprint across the playground. I know you guys are going to have questions. Let me answer them before you even start. All right, let me explain how it started. Little Tommy Jenkins, age 2, discovered how to unfasten his diaper, proudly declared his freedom, just like Patriot Rob, tossed it in the air like a graduation cap. Then, of course, all the other babies saw this. They ran across the park. They joined the cause, stripping down and taking off at a very Olympic level speed. Only, and the parents couldn't even catch them. Okay, there were witnesses. One particularly fast baby, nicknamed Lightning Liam, 18 months, was untouchable. He weaved through the picnic tables with the agility of a caffeinated squirrel. Another toddler, oh God, I can't even say his name. It's so cute. mischievous Maddie, age 1.5, made it all the way into the splash pad, declaring it new kingdom before she swiftly wrapped a towel by her mortified babysitter, who was very upset and was, fired. Okay, thank you all tonight, and I can't wait for for the edition tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next story. All right, man. It's been a fun night. We can keep it rolling. How y'all feeling? Anybody got any local news story they want to share?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Um, sorry, y'all. I just did something that kind of took my little breath away. Yeah, so the Ukrainians are speaking out in Charlotte. We have about 4,000 Ukrainians, and now they are also being threatened. So, this idea that only that European immigrants are not being affected, well, that's out the window now too. So they are also being affected, and it's so funny because whenever I meet people, I'm very interested in people, so I always talk to people, and I want to know more about them, where they're from, blah blah blah, their thoughts. And so many Ukrainians were pro-Trump. In today's edition of, I mean, I'm not laughing, that's wrong, but in F around to find out because they were like, yeah, they're pro Trump, absolutely 100%. And so now, then here's their biggest gripe. They're like, we came here to escape war, but also for the opportunity. And they're like, we sold our homes, our real estate, and deprived ourselves of the land that we were attached to. And we came here and we've invested millions of dollars into the United States, into homes and whatever else. And now, we're getting ready to be sent back. And they're like, we understand how politics change, but that this just isn't fair. And I have to agree with them. But then again, I mean, we're getting ready to probably be beefing with Ukraine. So, it is what it is. But yeah, that came out in Charlotte. And I do want to say one thing for International Women's Day. I learned about a woman who she was a soldier and she became Miss America. And the reason why is because a woman plucked her out of Starbucks one day and said, hey, you are so beautiful. Asked her all these questions and said, you should run for Miss America. You're going to win. And she gave her all these pageant books. And 3 months later, she went on to, compete in her first pageant. And she ended up losing 6 years in a row. The woman who told her to do it died. And that same year, she became Miss District of Columbia. And then she went on to become Miss America a year later. So, anyways, my message for Women's Day is to find a woman that you can believe in through her losses and failures and continue to inspire her. And also find a woman that believes in you through yours. Happy International Women's Day.
Hell yeah.
Great story.
Bravo,
Great story.
Vashan.
All right. Let's keep it moving, man. Let's get a couple more of these stories in.
Booted from the room.
No way you got booted from the room, Rob. You
Yeah,
handle everything.
Pamela just brought me back up.
Something else happened because if you were booted, it'll say it at the bottom. So sometimes you get a call or lose service, it'll kick you out or have you in the room by yourself. But I'm pretty sure nobody booted you.
It would show up in the 9 dots, and there's
Glad
nothing
you're
there.
back. Yeah.
There's nothing there to say that you were booted. So, Rob, just cool it.
He's trying to run that Grant
Well, it
Cardone
wouldn't
play.
be if he's in here, but if it went on and off.
So Rob, personal friend, and he's not getting booted. He been on his best behavior today, so there's no reason to have you booted. You got something for us, Rob? Though, since you back in here on fire.
No, I just really want to put pedophiles in a wood chipper. They don't deserve food. They don't deserve all pedophiles. Anybody that has violated a child deserves to be put in a wood chipper.
Well,
Well,
everybody's on your side.
Agreed.
So,
agreed.
next.
Yeah, yeah. You haven't said anything wrong about
Yeah,
that.
everybody in here always say that. Rob, that's nothing new to DTI.
Okay, I would volunteer for that service. To be quite honest with you, I would not have any. Whatever. Oh, I'm. Why are you calling me? You know I'm on this app. Sorry about that.
Rob, is that how you're rough all the time? Who are you talking to? Your wife, your kids?
I'm not married.
That's probably the local priest he was talking to.
Priest.
No, my buddy was call my buddy was calling me. He knows I'm on chatter, but I gotta too. It's been a pleasure, bro. I gotta bounce out. I got a clan meeting I gotta attend tonight.
I got you. You can't be late for that. So
Tell all the bros
sit
I
back.
said fuck you.
Bye bye, Proud Boy. Bye bye.
Code boys, stand back and stand
Good
by.
luck.
Code
Good luck
boys,
ever
stand
getting a
back.
wife. Good luck ever getting a life.
No, it's not a clan meeting. You fucking idiots. It's a joke. Um, no, I think I heard. You know, I actually agree with a lot of. I'm somebody who's very. I believe in a much smaller government, and I think that our government, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle we're talking about, has done things over the last 30 or 40 years that have purposely made it so that our citizenry becomes, you know, criminals easier. There's, I watched this guy. His name is John Stossel, and he's very middle of the road. He's not a conservative. He's not a liberal. He's like what an old school reporter should should be. And he was talking. This was about 5 years ago, and he was talking to a lawyer in Boston, a criminal defense attorney. And in the criminal defense attorney, he goes, "Man, there's so many laws that get on the books. We have a hard time as criminal defense attorneys. We have a hard time keeping up with it. There's laws in the books that people shouldn't be." And I am absolutely not pro law enforcement. I will let you guys know that now. I am as anti law enforcement as it gets. Yes, and I am a conservative because I believe in maximum freedom, less laws. I only believe that people should go to jail for things that have a victim. Outside of that, if it's a victimless crime, you should. In fact, it shouldn't even be a crime. I'm also somebody that doesn't believe that Hunter Biden should have ever been convicted on that gun charge. I think that set a bad precedent in the Second Amendment world. And all these conservatives that are going, yeah, Hunter Biden got convicted. I go, you morons. I mean, how the profess to be pro Second Amendment or a Second Amendment absolutist and say, yeah, this is a good thing? Oh, a straw purchase. Go. I also believe that people who have done time should have their second amendment, if they've served the time that, for the crime and they get out. I absolutely believe they should have their rights restored. You did you did a crime, you did your time, you paid society back. Your second amendment rights should be restored. But when it comes to murder, drug dealing, and pedophilia, fuck you. You deserve the worst.
Even drug dealers play your role.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
dude, I am so anti-drug. You have, bro. Let me tell you, I am somebody who has suffered, not me personally, but suffered in my life because of. Um, I believe that fentanyl dealers should be charged with attempted murder on top of drug dealing. Like
What ab-
I am so anti-drug. I want to bury fentanyl dealers.
what about the Sackler
I've seen
family?
I have seen the devastation of what fentanyl does
did you hear that
to
question
people
that
very
the
close to me.
God? Did you hear that
No, I
question the
didn't. I
God?
didn't hear him. No, I didn't hear him.
So
It
what
was
about the Sackler family?
I don't know who they are.
They're
the
actually the family that owns
Purdue former.
say it again.
Purdue
They
former.
actually own one of the major drug big pharma companies.
Oh, they need to get buried on too. Are you? They're the worst offenders of them all.
They started this whole epidemic with the opioids.
Are you goddamn right? You got to, dude. When you have somebody who's say 13, 14, 15 years old, right? Has back surgery. I'm giving you a life example here. This is intrinsic to my life. Okay, when somebody has back surgery at that age, your body's still fucking. We all know, right? When you give them when they have back surgery and you put like 4 screws in their spine because they have really bad scoliosis, and then you shovel 30s down their throat at 15 and 16 years old, and then get them addicted to, and then one day go, well, no more perks. What is going to happen? Of course, I'm not talking about the abuser. I'm talking about drug dealers. And you know what? Whether it be street level or whether it be federal level or whether it be cartel, anybody that pushes and makes our addicted to opioids, they all deserve to be buried under the.
Picture Rob, it's so funny you're saying this because funny inside, right? My son just went through this kind of surgery, and they gave him a patch with fentanyl in it. I kind of panicked a little bit when I saw that. They told me it was microdoses, but my fear was for him to be addicted, right? Because in our family we have addiction as an issue, and yeah, I couldn't believe that. My fear was also another parent's fear, and unfortunately, that parent wasn't as lucky as I am today. So, yeah, man, we got to do something about it.
Well,
That's
I
for
mean,
sure.
listen, Lennon, I feel for you, bro. Like I would never let my kids have fentanyl, and I'll land on this. Um, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I had an 11 millimeter kidney stone. It was any man here has ever had a kidney stone, you know about. It is unlike anything. I would rather get stabbed again, to be quite honest with you. So on top of that, I had a diverticulitis flare up because I had diverticulitis and now it's cured. But so I had a diverticulitis flare up enough as it is, and then I had 11 millimeter kidney stone. So I go and they put a stent in me. Look up what a stent is, how it goes inside of you. Your worst fears, gentlemen, are are perfectly valid. Um, but somehow they put it in wrong, and it was like hitting my urethra, and it was causing me even more pain. So I was in the hospital for like 5 days, and they gave me fentanyl in a drip. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. When I figured out what it was, because it wasn't like I've had like because of surgeries or whatever, and morphine before, and this is different. And I said, well, what are you guys giving me? Because I feel fucking great, man. I don't, and I'm not real, and it's not real. I'm not really. And I go, well, what are you giving me? He goes, fentanyl. I go, whoa. He goes, no, it's medical grade. I honestly, truly believe that because I don't have addiction issues, that I survived it. Because after I got out of the hospital, for only on it for 4.5, 5 days. For 4.5 days after I got out of the hospital, I shook like a leaf, and all I kept saying in my head was, "Oh, let me go get that the edge off." I can't even imagine if you had 10-year fentanyl addiction. I could never imagine trying to get off of that. It is literally the scourge and the plague right now. And anybody that traffics in that, whether it be doctors or low, all of those people. It was the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. I said, if this is what DTing after only being 5 days on this is like, for those 4 days, I literally wanted to die. Like I can't even describe to you how, unless you've actually done it and you know what I'm talking about. It was the worst thing I think I've ever experienced in my life. So I'm as anti-drug as it gets. I believe that marijuana should be legal, even though I don't smoke marijuana, never have. But I don't think people should be doing 5-year minimum sentences and selling a. I think it should. I think weed should have never been a Schedule One. So I'm pro legalizing weed. I mean, I don't think all the motherfuckers that went 90s for sentences should have never. A pinner, dude's gonna do 5 fucking years. That's fucking.
What about
So
mushrooms, Rob? What about mushrooms? How do you feel about
listen,
that?
the efficacy of microdosing mushrooms especially over the last 6 or 7 years, they're proving that it's actually working with veterans who have PTSD. So I think in a controlled environment, I mean, it's natural. There's nothing, you can grow the. I believe that if you can grow it outside, God put it on the planet. But
Yeah, but
when you
same
have
as
something that,
cocaine, right? And you're against
yeah,
cocaine,
but
correct?
dude, no, yeah, the process to gain is a lot different than going out and picking up mushrooms off a fucking pile of.
I get
It's
that,
a
but
it's a
hypothetically,
there's
if
a
you,
huge difference.
Yeah, you
yeah,
had to
but I mean, if
synthesize
you
when you
had like,
And
synthesize things.
mushrooms aren't addictive like cocaine is.
Yeah,
no, that's true. That's true.
yeah,
Anyways,
So
yeah,
yeah.
it's
yeah.
the addiction that's the problem, and people that peddle in that purposely destroy our nation. White, black, green, yellow. I don't. Everybody's affected by drugs somehow, some way.
So let me ask you a question real quick. I know you got to go, but and we're gonna move on. But do you think if we got rid of all of drug dealers, America wouldn't have a drug problem anymore? Or would
No,
the
I don't believe
the
that.
junkie the
No, no,
junkies
no.
will figure out a way to get high?
Yeah, they will. But you know what? There's so many things that people can do to get off and stay clean. It's just and it's a longer conversation that I have much knowledge and much experience in. And I had a very very poor view of junkies, very 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 poor view. And I was the guy who was like, well, let's put them all, and like these junkies are pieces of. And then it actually had a direct effect on my life. And 10 years ago, and I grew out of that, and I started having empathy for it, because I understand, especially in that situation where you had this girl who was a addict, but it came from somewhere, and that somewhere is the doctors pushing the high powered drugs when they were younger, and then when they go out into society, they don't know how to deal without these drugs. So what do? They go and they find the drugs on the street. There,
Rob,
that's the problem. Starts there.
Rob, I got a question for you. It's a real
Yeah.
question. It's a real question because and maybe I'm naive or whatever, and I shouldn't be because I was all up in that game when I was younger. But is there such thing as a fentanyl dealer? Does someone actually deal fentanyl? Like,
Yes.
like
Yep, yep.
Yes. Yes. So
no,
listen, this
I'm not.
girl,
Wait,
this girl
Rob,
said,
Rob, I'm not talking about like cocaine and someone was
no.
cut with fentanyl. I'm talking.
Yes. No. This is straight. Yes, Jonathan. I'm going to tell you right now, man. She said to me when I started doing this, it was all brown, and at one point it switched to all white. That's exactly how she explained it to me. Everything that she had at the time was pretty much straight fentanyl, and then she cut it like a diuretic. She would cut her own fentanyl with a diuretic that she would order off of Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, Jonathan.
So
People use fentanyl. It used to be like people would lace people and use it to cut to make stuff cheaper. But now that the opioid, the pills are so high, and the heroin was a little bit higher, the fentanyl is so cheap that people actually use fentanyl. They're not being tricked anymore. They're like looking for it. And you got people
No,
yeah,
that
at some
no,
that's
it's
point,
it's
yeah.
it's
you got people that's all they sell is fentanyl, and it's
yeah.
lucrative.
So
Probably
at
more
some
Listen, I'll be
lucrative.
point,
back in a little while, boys. I got to roll.
All right, yeah, it's
It's
probably more
been a
Well,
lucrative.
pleasure,
hold on,
bro.
wait. Rob, do you have time for one more thing before you
No,
go? It's real
he got to
quick.
go, Allie. He got to go. Let him go. He
Okay.
got a meeting to
Allie,
get
go
to.
ahead, real quick.
Okay. Explain to the people what you know
No,
about why.
I just got a dinner to go to. Dude. I don't have a
Okay.
fucking meeting. I
It's
was
super
joking.
short. Explain to the people what you
Yeah.
know about why marijuana was illegally classified as a narcotic.
Oh, this goes back to the 20s and 30s. This is this is this is a long stand. What do I call them? Um, Puritanical Christian idiots decided to the same puritanical Christian idiots that the embargo and not allow you to drink alcohol in the 20s. This is they don't marijuana has so many properties to it.
It was for race,
And
Rob. It was race. It's purely
what?
race. Marijuana was
No, it's not purely.
classified. It was race. It
It's
was
not
because
It's not purely race. It's not purely race, Jonathan. It was the
Mostly,
big pharma companies that realize that marijuana has so many medicinal guys want to turn it into race, but the reality of the situation
Rob,
is
I'm
if
not
you
trying to
go
turn
and
into
you
race.
actually
That's
research, you
Rob.
just
Rob, I did the
did.
research.
But
Eh,
Patriot Rob, do you know why they call it marijuana? That's racist in itself. They start calling it that to demonize the Mexicans.
Mexicans and the blacks that was smoking it. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell him. That's what happened, Rob.
Well,
You heard
well, we
Me-
can demonize the
you ever
Mexicans.
seen the Reefer Madness?
yeah,
And
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
reefer
yeah,
madness.
absolutely.
Uh,
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
okay, there you go,
Again,
Rob.
white puritanical
Yeah,
Christians going, "Oh my God, the kid that my white kid
yeah.
lettuce." But
No,
the
no, no, no.
real the
The
real
white women was
reason,
getting raped by black men.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, you know
I looked it up right
what
now.
it
It just
really, what
says
it
it
really,
was first criminalized in response to growing anti-Mexican, anti-black sentiment
I told
through
him.
the
right, and that's of
1937
course, but the
Act.
real. But guys, the real reality of the situation, yes, that is what they're telling you. That is the smokescreen. The reality of the situation is this: when the rise of all of these medicine companies, all of these big pharmaceutical companies, when they realized that their drugs were ineffectual compared to the medicinal properties of marijuana, they had to stop it somehow, some way. So what do? Yet again, the government and the fear mongering. You know what? The Puritans bought into it.
and,
The government does not want you to be able to heal yourself. Big pharma does not want you to be able to. They don't want you to be able to go out there and find medicines that are all natural. Okay, they don't want you to not be um subservient to them. They don't want you to they don't want you to be free. And what's a way that we can all be free? You know what? If we're not sucking off the fucking dick and Bayer and all of these companies, and we're healing ourselves with what the earth provides us they have no control over us.
Okay, I just want to give a quick response and say yes, yes, yes to all that. And AI Overview says in United States, cannabis was considered a fashionable narcotic as early as 1853. And by 1931, Texas had declared cannabis a narcotic and possession could result in a life sentence. So 1931, Texas.
and it
That's the
started
narcotic
Yeah,
part.
and it
and
started.
it's the same thing
Go
with
ahead.
heroin. Heroin used to be legal as well. They used to have heroin houses where you can go in, but the Chinese train workers look up heroin. That's why they criminalized heroin, and I'm glad they did because they wanted to control and imprison the Chinese. So
And in the 50s, sorry,
yeah,
cocaine was popular with the
yeah. So I want to put
housewives.
so I want to put that out there. So yeah, they criminalized marijuana because they
All right.
frightened the white men into thinking that the black guys gonna rape the white women. So they did to protect the white women from being raped by black men. That's real story. Real true.
Yeah,
Look at
All right.
Reefer
All
Madness.
right. I got to
Guys,
roll, boys and
okay, go
girls.
ahead. All
yeah,
right, all right, guys.
and it was
Reefer
Um,
madness indeed.
and it was
Look at
before
Reefer
it was before.
Madness. You see the black guys, the white guys in blackface raping the white women. So
Yep,
and they actually played that in the White House, by the way.
yep.
So want to
They
put that
they
out
would
there.
say they would smoke and go crazy and do all kind of crimes and rape white and this happened before big pharma was really a thing because you used to
I got
con-
yeah, yeah, guys. I want to say this real quick too. Two, I got to give it to you and Adrian. I like your room better than I like the other room, the main debate the news. So I'll say that I like the vibe in your room more than I like the vibe in the other room. The other room, if you slip, you get your head taken off. So you you can't relax in the other room because if you slip, they take your head off and they hand it right back to you.
can't make no mistakes over there. You got to be
I'm
on point.
sorry about that, people.
That's the culture you created, Jonathan Big. You was a damn megalomaniac, man.
Checkmate.
But
But
yeah, man.
polarization is a part of debate, right?
Yeah, I think we just like to keep it light over here, have fun. If you make a mistake, it's no big deal. But mostly just good light stories and yeah, that story you brought today to God, man. I mean, that was a great one, man. I'm still thinking about that because that's something that average person, especially somebody who never been incarcerated before, never thinks about. The way people eat and the way people are treated. And And I'm with Jonathan. I do feel like people should get decent, good food. But when I heard the Michelin rated thing and all of that, and like you said, that wasn't her words, that was the post twisting it. But when you hear stuff like that, I think it kind of make people turn their nose up at it. But yeah, everybody should be able to get a good, decent food. No processed, good vegetables. And but when we start talking about Michelin rated, what we're gonna do? Give them steaks and whatever the case may be. So yeah, yeah, that's something to
I
keep
mean,
thinking about.
when the headline says the woke mind